So we are going to solve a system of linear inequalities. And the only way to solve a system of linear inequalities is by graphing. So we're going to have to graph these two inequalities in order to solve them. So I'm going to take a look at the first inequality. We have 3x minus y is greater than 6. So I'm going to rewrite this inequality. Now I have two options. I can either solve this inequality for y and graph it using its y-intercept and its slope, or I can plug in values for x and find what the y is equal to. For this first equation, I'm going to solve it for y and graph it using the y-intercept and the slope. My second equation, I'm going to graph by plotting points, so that you have both ways you can do this. So to solve for y, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. So I have negative y is greater than 6 minus 3x. Now y isn't by itself yet because we have the negative sign, so we're going to multiply everything by negative 1. And so negative 1 times negative y is just positive y. When you multiply or divide by a negative number, you're going to have to flip this symbol. So it's going to be flipped. Negative 1 times 6 is negative 6. Negative 1 times negative 3x is positive 3x. So y is less than 3x minus 6. So I'm going to plot the y-intercept, which is negative 6. So we'll go down into the negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put a dot. And now my slope is 3x. That means, sorry, my slope is 3, not 3x. So that means I'm going to go up 3 to the right 1. Up 3 to the right 1. So 1, 2, 3, right 1. 1, 2, 3, right 1. 1, 2, 3, to the right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And so I can go ahead and graph my line. And now I'm going to look at the symbol. The symbol is a greater than. That means that y cannot equal 3x minus 6. That's going to mean I need an open line. And you'll remember that an open line has to be dashed. So what I'm going to do is, and this is what I would do as a student on paper, I would just draw the line straight, and then I would go through and erase with a smaller eraser. And erase with a smaller eraser. All right, much better. So I'm going to go ahead and erase. So now my last step in shading is I need to figure out which side I'm going to shade of the line. And to do that, I'm going to take one point and I'm going to plug it in to the equation. So I'm going to pick 0, 0, because 0 is really easy to work with. I'm going to plug it into my original equation. So 3 times 0 is 0. Minus 0 is greater than 6. Is that a true statement? No. This is as false can be. So since this is a false statement, I know that 0, 0 is not in the shaded region. Therefore, the shaded region must be on this side of the line. My highlighter is way thick, but it makes things go faster. Oops. Let's make it a little less dark. All right. So now I've graphed one of my inequalities. I need to graph my other inequality. So I'm going to erase my work here. And I'm going to graph my second inequality. So this time, instead of converting this to slope-intercept form, I'm just going to plot some points. I'm going to make a little table of x and y values just to show the other way you can go ahead and plot graph a line. The easiest number to plug in is 0. So I'm going to plug in 0 for x. I'm also going to plug in 0 for y. And then just so I have one extra number to double check I'm doing things right, I'm going to plug in 1 for x. And that should be enough to graph my line. So if x is equal to 0, I'll have 0 minus 2y is greater than or equal to negative 4. So then divide both sides by negative 2, divide by negative 2. So negative 2y divided by negative 2 is just y. I'm going to flip the sign because I'm dividing by a negative. And negative 4 divided by negative 2 is 2. So y is less than or equal to 2. Then I'm going to plug in 0 for y. So I have x. Well, negative 2 times 0 is just 0. So I have x is greater than or equal to negative 4. I'll put that in my table. And then finally, I'm going to plug in 1 for x, because that's easy. So I'm going to have 1 minus 2y is greater than or equal to negative 4 minus 1 minus 1. So I have negative 2y is greater than or equal to negative 5, divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. And so I have y is less than or equal to, because I had to flip the sign because I divided by a negative, 2.5. And so I'm going to go ahead and graph this. I'm going to graph this in orange. Go Broncos. Actually, I guess I can't use orange because my grid lines are orange, so I'll use red. So 0, 2 is 0 over up to. Negative 4, 0 is negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0. And then 1, 2.5. 1, 2.5. And it appears that these 3 points all line up. I'll continue this way. And now it's time for my shading. I'm going to take 0, 0 and plug it in. So I'll have 0 minus 2 times 0 is greater than or equal to negative 4. So we have 0, 0. So 0 is greater than or equal to negative 4. Is that a true statement? Yeah. So I know that 0, 0 is in the shaded region. So I will have to shade this part of the graph. Now my solution for my inequality is where the two shaded regions overlap. So I know that the answer to my inequality is this region here, where the shaded regions overlap. And that is the answer to the problem. And that's it.